Hey everyone, welcome back to Dark Forest for the next episode in our Let's Play series. So we are now into June and our barley is ready to harvest, which is just in time as the chickens are down to the last 800 litres of feed. So it couldn't have worked out any better that we will have the barley now to feed them. So we're going to get straight on with harvesting the actual barley field. And then we can get the straw baled up, so we've got some straw bales for when we get the horses. Which will be... Actually, we could possibly look at getting the horses this month. We do have a bit of oats. We've got some hay. And we'll have the straw as well. So we'll have everything they require. Let's see if the straw swath's on. Yeah, there we go. We're leaving the swath. So yeah, all we'd need to do is clear a little bit more land to put the horse stable building in, because there's still a few trees in the area where I want to build that, so I don't know if we'll get time to do that today, but we should be able to next time. If not, I've finished filling the 2 containers I bought at the end of the last episode. We partially filled one, finishing clearing the trees for the trailer park. So I've finished filling both of those, clearing a few more trees from the actual farm area as well. So they're ready to be sold. The sawmill's up and running and progressing nicely, but we are down to the last couple of thousand litres of wood in there. I did take a few more logs over from the tops of the trees I cleared to finish filling the containers. So that did top that up a little bit for to get us through to now, but that will need a few more logs soon. Greenhouse, I think, is also a point where we need to top that up with water. And the sheep have now had their first birth, so we're up to 50 sheep now. So we'll need to check on those as well at some point today. So I say first job is going to be to get the barley harvested and then get the straw baled up. Okay, so that's the grain trailer full. I have increased the feed capacity on the chicken coop as well, so we've got 4,000 litres we can put in there rather than the 1,000 it was before. Yeah. You don't have to worry about filling that up as often. I'm just going to leave that there. We'll go and get that unloaded so we can top up the chicken's feed with the barley and then put the rest in the silo. I've switched over the auger so it's filling, and because we've used up all the sorghum now, the 1 grain bin is now empty, so we can put the barley in that. We will need to build a 3rd silo though for the soybeans, but we don't need to worry about that just yet. We can do that a bit later in the year. As the soybeans aren't going to be ready for a few months, so we'll keep the one for oats, which we'll obviously need for the horses, the barley then for the chickens, and then the 3rd grain bin can be just used for as and whatever else we do. So yeah, 4,000 litres I've changed this to, which I think is a bit more reasonable, and I'm not having to worry about filling it up every 10 minutes. Especially with 500 chickens in there, 1,000 litres just does not last very long. The other good thing about doing the barley as well for chicken feed is it's a higher yielding crop than sorghum, so we'll get far more off the field, and the chickens will consume the same amount of sorghum wheat or barley, so doing the higher yielding crop is more beneficial to us. I will have to put the tractor onto the auger though, so we can actually get the barley into it. And it's always quite tricky to get this lined up. You do have to get it very, very close. Well, it's one of those things, if you don't get it right first, it then becomes a bit tricky to pick up. I'm not quite there. I think I'm slightly at the wrong angle. Let's try spinning round and coming at it the other way. See if we can get a little bit closer and a bit more square on. Might help a little bit. So what I'll probably do is I'll put the John Deere on the auger, and then we'll get the International to haul the grain cart. Yeah, still not quite picking up. Maybe it's because the tractor's not on there, it's not recognising it's available to empty into. Right, get that hooked up. We'll go and grab the International and see if it shows up then. If not, I'll have to readjust it again a little bit. So it's always a little bit tricky to get it to pick up with the gravity wagon. You do have to get very, very close to the end of it. I don't know if that's just the pickup box on the gravity wagon's a bit small, or whether it is the auger. There we go. That's going in. That's slightly moved, so not quite lined up anymore, but it's working. So we've got 2,589 litres of oats left, so we'll keep that for the horses, and we can then top that up with the oat field. So all the barley, and then we've got the soybeans, which will need to build another silo, because soybeans best price isn't until around this time. So it'll be next year before we can sell that. And we can only store one crop in each of these silos, they're not multi-crop. They do only take one crop at a time. Okay, so that's the first one, and I've just moved the auger even further out of the way. Yeah, what we really need is the drive over one that you could get on FS22. So you could hook that up. See if we can realign that up a little bit better. Disconnect that so we can turn the tractor off, because you can't turn it off while it's hooked up to the auger. It stays running. We'll go and finish. I'll say finish unloading the combine where I've moved it ready to go. So yeah, we'll carry on with the rest of the barley and get all that harvested and get the rest of it put into the silo, and then we can get on with the straw. Okay, last little strip of barley to harvest, and that's this field all done. And the first field harvested for this year. I don't think it'll be too long till the oats field are ready to harvest. Possibly next month. We'll just check that, because we did plant them in the first month. We could actually get them in. And they should be ready for the first month they can be, which is... yeah, next month, so they should be ready for next month. Soybeans won't be ready until at least October, so it's going to be a few months before then. Well, that is the barley all done, and I don't think we've got too bad of a yield off that. Considering we've already filled up the chickens' feed trough and we've got a few thousand litres in the silo already. I've got 5,896 litres in the combine plus what's in the gravity wagon, so that should be more than enough to keep chickens going until next year's harvest. Yeah, I don't think there's enough space in the gravity wagon to completely unload the combine. We'll have to go and get this in the silo and then come back for the rest. And then we can see roughly how much we got in total off this field. I've got the last 1,394 litres of barley from the combine. So we'll get this into the silo, then we can see how much we got off the field in total. And if I can get this close enough. Not quite. Last time I had to mess around with it and then I realised I hadn't got the tractor switched on. It wasn't showing up. Must remember to have a tractor attached to the auger and running for it to pick up on the trigger. So I was there reversing backwards and forwards trying to get it to pick up and it was never going to. Right, so that's all in. So we've got 20,743 litres in this silo. We put around about 3,000 and a bit litres into the chickens. So I reckon we got around about 24,000 litres in total off that field, which is not too bad. Let's say that should last the chickens well into next year. So we shouldn't have to worry about running out for chicken feed. So I'll get this dropped off, I'll get the combine put away, and then we'll switch over to the baler and then we can start getting the straw baled up. So the combine's been put away, I've got the baler on the International. So we can get this unfolded and we can get all the straw baled up. So we'll use this, we'll keep all the straw we get this time off this field for bedding for the horses. Then in the straw we get off the oat field we can probably sell because we won't need all of that. I'm only planning on getting, I don't know, to be honest I was kind of thinking about the horses and deciding how many to get, so I think I might get 4. I think 2 might not just be worth it. As I mentioned before, I've not really done horses all that much in FS22. I did them a little bit on hoe baler on and I found that they weren't worth the investment. But with cheaper options now for horse stables, it might not be so bad. And on No Man's Land I didn't get them until towards the very end of the series. Main reason for getting them on there was I was doing the all base game crop types, animals and productions on that series. So I kind of had to get them at some point. But we didn't have them long enough to really get any benefit out of them at all. And I think the horse stable I wanted to get, I know it did on FS19, it also got manure from the horses, so hopefully it does on this one as well, because that would be an added benefit to having the horses, will be the manure, which is one thing I think should really be added to the base game horse buildings. Even if it was a similar requirement to like the cow shed where you put the manure extension pit down and you got manure, because horses do produce horse manure. So kind of, yeah, it's always been a bit weird why in the game you don't get horse manure from them. So if this one does produce horse manure, at least it'll give us something else we can potentially use on our fields for fertiliser, depending on how much they produce. If not, the only other thing we can do with it is sell it, but we'll see once we get that built. Okay, last little bit of straw to finish baling up. I completely forgot to reset the bale counter, so I'm not sure exactly how many straw bales we've got. So what's that? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus what's on the baler, so about 10, 11 straw bales, so that should be plenty for the horses. Get those, or that one. So yeah, it's about 10 bales in total. 78% full of the next one. The grass is also ready to harvest as well. I'm pretty sure that is the fully grown stage. It still looks a little bit short, so I don't know, potentially maybe that'll go a little bit longer. We'll leave it another month. We're not in desperate need of hay, so that's not a job we need to worry about today. So what I am thinking is, I think now we've got the straw, we've got some oats, may as well finish clearing the trees from the left of the shed here. So just where the tree harvester is, I've been clearing a few more trees. That's pretty much where I want to put the stables. So if we get this put away, I'm going to continue clearing that area. What I'm going to do this time though, rather than get containers, as the sawmill needs topping up anyway, I think for the first few trees, or finish clearing that area, I'm going to just load them up onto the other trailer with the log poles on and take them over to the sawmill, just so we can get that topped up as much as we can, and then we don't have to worry about that running out of wood anytime soon. As I said, I've cleared a few more trees from down the side. Yeah, there's a few 9-metre logs I've got cut there. And I'll probably need to come over right up to the edge of the road, down to this area. We'll actually just check. Go into build mode. I'll go animals, horses. So the stable I want to get is the branch extension set from Elk Mountain Modding. So this one I used on Crater Lake on FS19. And I'm thinking again it's somewhere around about here, so it's kind of the actual shed fence where the water trough is kind of in line with the field. Although, yeah, looking at that now, I've cleared a few more trees. Don't know if I like the how that fits in. I think we're going to have to come quite close to there. I think it should fit in there. We can access that side. It's not too close to the road. So if we kind of go somewhere around about there, so we're going to pretty much have to clear that whole group of trees down to the road and across level with the edge of the field. So there's not too many trees, so it shouldn't take too long to do. But first thing we'll do, we'll take the... we don't need to do the containers yet, so we're not in desperate need for the money. So we'll leave that. Get this onto the other trailer. And get the log poles put up, and then we can... Oh! Nearly crashed into the containers. I still find the... I don't know what it is with FS and trucks, road vehicles. I just find they always accelerate way too fast. Kind of like Formula 1 cars going from nothing to stupid fast really quick. So what I'll probably do with these, I'll probably just cut these trees directly onto the trailer, save loading them. May make things a little bit easier. And we'll get those few 9-metre logs chucked on as well. I don't know how many... Well, it's 75,000 litre capacity, so these trees may be enough to completely fill the sawmill. Then we won't have to worry about that for a few months. Now what I should have really done was loaded those ones up first. See how well this works. Just save a little bit of time then having to load them up separately. And we can, because we're taking it to the production sawmill, we'll chuck the whole lot on. We don't need to worry about the different sizes getting mixed up. So yeah, I'll finish clearing this area so we can then get the stables built. I'm gonna possibly get the horse trailer and actually go to the animal dealership to buy the horses rather than getting them direct, because we will need to sell the horses on in the future to make any money from them. So it'll be beneficial to get one, although we probably won't use it again for a while. So I'm not sure on the reproduction cycle, because I say No Man's Land I didn't do horses for very long, and when I first tried them on Hoe Baler, and it was before the update where they added the reproduction cycle for horses, so you couldn't get any offspring from them. So I'm not sure on exactly how long they'll take to produce offspring. So it's another thing it'll be interesting to see in this series as we progress, seeing if the horses are actually more worthwhile doing now in FS22 than they were in the initial release of the game. Okay, so that should be enough trees cleared. May possibly have to get these 3 here. Maybe I'll squeeze one of them on the trailer. Don't think all 3 of them will fit on. I might just clear these 3 just to give us a little bit more space. Try and see if we can fit this one on, but I think the other 2 are going to be a bit too much for this trailer. This should almost fill the sawmill, if not will fill the sawmill. So anything else we get after this we can then put to one side to load up in containers to sell. And there is the mod as well. It's not a mod I've tried, but I think it's the container storage warehouse, where it takes containers and then puts them into storage that you can then distribute the wood to productions. I think that's how it works. It's not a mod I've actually tried myself, so I may download that and have a look at it. That may be beneficial to use in the future. Just to give us a bit more capacity on the containers. Using the containers we can then put them into there, if that's how it works. I say I'm not 100% sure on that. It's one of those mods that sounds like that's the way it should work, but then it may not work the way you think it does. Right, so yeah, I don't think we're going to fit any more on that. Probably just get this one tree. I'm going to cut it down, I'll just put it to one side and we can load it up afterwards. Just give us a little bit more space down the edge of this field. I'll just try and cut this one up in between these trees. Put it out the way. That should give us plenty of space then to build the stable building. We will need to build one more trailer home for the horse helper, which is another mod I need to actually get installed, but I don't actually have it installed on this save game just yet. And I believe there is a couple of different ones available as well for FS22. I'll need to just go through and see what the difference is between them, if any. Yeah, we'll get this over to the sawmill. See if this completely tops it up, but it should put us somewhere close, which should then last us a good few months before we need to worry about topping it up again. Alright, so let's see how much this takes us up to on the sawmill. Well, this trailer really doesn't like having the logs on. Don't know if I'm going to get in there now because it keeps kicking over. If I take the straps off, it'll the logs all explode and go everywhere. So I'm not going to get this in there with it bouncing around like this. Now I've got it stuck on the building. Oh, there we go, we're in. Sometimes you have to risk it. You have to just take the straps off and then redo them to get the logs to settle down. Well, that's up to 69,000 litres with a few more, so that will be close enough to being full. I'm going to take those last two. I don't think there's enough space in there. I'll leave that one log on the ground as it's on there, but this one we can just take to this sawmill and sell. Trouble with the production sawmills, it won't take logs if there's not enough space for the amount of wood in that particular log. So that one on the ground we'll leave until it can take it. But that should keep the sawmill going now for a good few months. So we'll get the stable building built and the next trailer home. And then we can head up to the store. I'll probably take the containers with us. And then we can get the horse trailer and then go and buy, I think, 4 horses. Because this stable we're going to build takes 8 in total. Right, so we want animals and we want horses. So we'll go with this one from the Elk Mountain Modding Ranch set. The water trough's down this right hand side, so we'll need a little bit of space to access that. And we also need to be able to get into this end of the building. I don't want to come there because it'll make it a bit difficult to get down the side. So there's a slight shelter bit on the front there where we can store the straw bales and some hay bales. So if we go around about there, don't want to go too close to the road either. That'll fit in reasonably well. So there's our new stable horse pasture. Get rid of some of those bushes in there as well. Just go meadow grass. Get rid of some of those that are inside. I wish this map had the similar thing to like the East Vineland map where you've got all the different grass textures you can paint rather than just the meadow grass. We'll go painting dirt texture and just in front of the feed trough, in front of this stable area a bit. There's another gate there on the side, and then just around the water trough as well. We'll just clear a bit of the grass so it's not in the water trough and feed troughs. This is where manure spawned on FS19. I don't know if it works on this one. It's not in the best place because it's right up against the road actually. But I say I'm not 100% sure if this actually works or whether it's just a remnant from the conversion. I'll put a track going down to that. And what I may eventually do is just move this road over slightly. So where it kind of curves here, I may continue that. Give us a little bit more space on this side. That won't line up then with the mini-map, but not too much of an issue. Just gives us a little bit more space on this side of the actual stable building. We'll just bring that round as well. I'll do a little bit in front of this building. Yeah, we'll put a bit down there. I'm not going to do too much because say this is costing us quite a bit of money. I'll put slight track in just to join up with this side. And we'll just fill in this little bit in front of here as well. So this is another one of those things I'll come back eventually when we've got a little bit more money and tidy all this up and make it look a little bit neater. But at the moment it's one of those things I don't want to spend too much money on landscaping. So there's the new horse pasture shed, paddock, stable building in. So we'll get this trailer dropped off. I'll take the 2 containers up to the store and get those sold so we've got a little bit more money. Actually, before we do that, I'll just quickly put the next trailer in. So that's done. So we want farmhouses. We'll do have that one, which is a little bit bigger and a bit longer. Doesn't quite fit in that gap. So we'll just go for another one of these. I know it's the same as that one, but not going to matter too much if they all look a bit similar at the moment. So we'll bring that one over a little bit. Get that one in, and then we'll just do the same as last time. A little bit of gravel in front of it. One's probably come a little bit too far over. Get rid of that bush as well. I did have to redo some of the fencing, so we was down a little bit of money from last time because that one fence was a little bit wonky. So I did straighten it up a little bit. So we've got a home now for the horse helper, and then one for the sawmill, and we'll give them a mailbox as well. Why not? Can we change the colour on this one? We can. There we go. So, horse helper and the sawmill worker. So yeah, I'll get the containers up to the sawmill to the store. Get those sold. We'll buy the transport trailer then, and we'll go and head over to the animal dealer to buy a couple of horses. And we'll just need to give them some oats from this silo, bale of hay, and then the straw bedding, which I'm just thinking we may need to get a straw blower. I don't know if it'll take bales. We'll try a bale first. If it doesn't take bales, we'll have to get a straw blower so we can give the horses some bedding. That's 27,587 for the first one, $27,734 for the second container. So back up to 88,000. So let's go and see. I'll check the used equipment market. There's a nice John Deere 9R, a little bit out of our price range at the moment. High performance disc. Header for the 1175. And nothing super beneficial to us at the moment. So animal transport. We've got two options. I think I'm going to go with this one. I've not actually used this one before. They both take only 2 horses, but this one works on the fifth wheel, so it'll fit onto the semi-truck. So we can use that to go and pick up the horses. We'll get rid of the license plate. I wish that had default to no plate on here rather than always putting one on. So we'll buy that. That's going to cost us 22,000, but that's going to come in super handy in the future as well. Okay, so we're down at the animal dealer. That's the first time I've been down here. It's definitely an area that could do a bit of work. Very overgrown. So we'll get two horses that we can fit in the trailer, and then we'll have to come back for the other 2. So they're 500 each. Colour-wise, I don't think it matters at all which breed you get. So we'll just go with 1 Pinto and I'll get 1 Seal Brown to start with. That's 1,000 for the 2 horses, safely tucked away in our animal transport trailer. So we'll get these into the new stable, and we'll get their water topped up, give them some hay and oats, straw if we can, and then we'll come back and get the next 2. Okay, so let's get these 2 in. I'm not 100% sure where the... oh, there it is. I just accidentally destroyed some of my oats. So I'm not sure where the trigger was. As I was going past that gate, I thought I'll just try there, see if that's where the trigger is. And it put me into the menu while the truck was still moving. So move to husbandry. So we've got Zen and Stormy. Nice names. I'll just park this about the way. The oats go in here, which that's going to be very difficult to get the oats into there with the gravity wagon. Probably almost virtually impossible. And I think if I remember, if it's the same as FS19, then the straw went in here. So the straw was in this section here. The oats went there, and then the hay we had to put in this ring. There's like 3 different areas for the different stuff. So presuming it will be very similar on here. So we may need to get a... we can use that bucket. Or I may need to tip the oats to the ground to get them out. No, we can get them out with the bucket attached to this. It was the grain hopper I tried for the chickens, which I couldn't get any grain out the auger. What we'll do first actually is we'll leave that. We'll do the... give them a bale of hay first. Again, this is not one of those things I presume they will take a hay bale because most feed triggers take bales. It's just generally the straw on quite a lot of the animal buildings I've used that don't take bales. Now you need to shred them to loose straw first. So the sheep are fine for hay, they've still got a bale in front of their trough. I'll just take one over for the horses. Now there's plenty of hay still in there, so you don't need to worry about cutting the grass field just yet, but I will try and get a cut for hay in the summer. Not that it really matters, because it's not like seasons on FS19 where you have to dry the grass out. I'll try putting it in the feed ring first. I know that's where I had to put it last time. This might not be the right place. Right, it's taken it. Now, is it a combined feed trough for hay and... no, it's 2 separate ones. So we've got 8,000 litres of hay, which is exactly 1 bale fills up the feed trough. So base food will be the oats. Didn't actually say what the actual base food is, just says base food. I know they do take oats, so I'm pretty sure they take... do they take something else on... I can't remember now if they take a different crop as well as oats on this one. Not showing on the animal window, so I'm not sure on that one. They may take sorghum as well, but I may be wrong on that. It may just be oats. Right, let's get these dropped off. We'll get the bucket on. I'm going to have to get the tractor switched over to the other grain bin so we can get the oats out. And we'll get them some water as well. Okay, so the auger's been moved over, so we should be able to get some oats straight into the bucket and get it in the right place. Why does it always do that? Opens the menu and then for a stop. Well, there we go, 2,000 litres of oats in the bucket. That should be enough to keep the horses going until the oats are ready to harvest. Don't think they'll use that much. So we just need to get them some water and then the straw. This action cannot be performed here. Right. Do I need to go this side? Or does this one need to go in the ring as well? Oh, that's just tipped it to the ground. Alright, so let me turn on the... Oh no, I have completely filled the feed trough with hay, haven't I? Yeah, I didn't look at the... I saw the base food, 0. Got total capacity is 8,000 litres. So yeah, I've overfilled it with hay, so we can't put any oats in until they've consumed some hay. So yeah, not a great start. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. So yeah, I can't get any oats in, so I'll have to keep filling the oats up as the hay is consumed. Okay, so we've got 4 horses now. So I've got 2 more that I've put in there, so we're up to 4. We'll leave it at 4, as I say, then they can reproduce. One thing I did notice as well, I did try and give them a straw bale and it wouldn't take it. But I've also noticed there is no straw actually on this animal horse pasture. So it doesn't look like there's any straw trigger anyway, so we wouldn't be able to give them straw in this particular building. I'm not sure why the straw's missing. I would have thought that would have been a requirement for a shed, but yeah, we can't give them any straw, so it's pointless spending money on a straw blower. I've stacked these straw bales in the shed anyway, so we might just sell those if we don't need them, but I'm going to keep hold of them now just in case. And I might have a look, see if I can actually add straw to this, or see if there's an update for this that adds it. So I've managed to get a little bit of oats in as well, so they've got 4 litres of oats, and as they consume hay, we could probably get another 7 litres in there now because it's down. I'll just keep topping up with oats until we get more oats than hay, and then I'll make sure I fill up the oats first, up to 60%, and then the rest with hay bale. Animals that are healthy and older than 22 months can reproduce. Obviously these are new births, so they're only 0 months. So yeah, when the puberty gets up to 100%, then they'll be old enough to reproduce. So that's going to be at least 22 months. It's going to be a while yet before we get to that point. But yeah, we've now got some horses on our little farm ranch. Horses, sheep. Well, I said, I did look as well. There's no trigger. I can't see any kind of trigger for straw. And there's nothing shown on the menu. So we do have a few straw bales here. So I'll keep hold of them for now, just in case I do change that. Can possibly get some straw into that. So I don't know. So I'm presuming that we won't get any manure spawn here. So there's nothing showing there as well for manure. I presume that's just a remnant as from the conversion of FS19, which is a little bit of a shame. So I will have a look, see if it's been updated since I downloaded this version. I'm not sure it has, but it'll be worth a look. So we'll leave this episode here. So we've got a bit more done. I think I've left the John Deere running. Nope. There we go. I think it's because I left the game and come back in. I have installed the Horseman mod, so the Horseman will ride and clean the horses. We can do it ourselves, which will save us a bit of money. So if I do have time, I may just go around and ride and clean them, like this one. Jester. So I've already done a bit of riding, so 62% for Jester. So yeah, we'll leave this episode here. So hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, then please do consider subscribing. Got more FS22 content coming up with this series and the Let's Plays. This series, I say, the Let's Plays and the live streams. If you do have any questions or comments, then please do leave them down below, and I'll do my best to try and answer any questions and reply to any comments. And again, a big thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.